let's start with the first topic, self-inductance. So before we proceed to the concept of self-inductance, we must be fully aware of the two most important laws, which are Faraday's law and the Lenz's law. Let's discuss about the Faraday's law first. Look at its definition. It states that any change in the magnetic environment of a coil of wire will cause a voltage or EMF to be induced in the coil. In this example, the coil of a wire having n number of turns is moving into the magnetic field, and the magnetic field, which is represented by this dot, is itself a varying quantity which is moving inside. Dot represents the movement of the magnetic field to be inside, means away from the observer. Due to this, the current will induce in the coil and so the EMF, according to the definition of Faraday's law. As you can see from this image, that as the coil moves inside the magnetic field, the coil is moving inside the magnetic field, means in this direction, from left to right. As the coil moves inside the magnetic field, the flux is changing continuously due to the varying area. This is the area which is continuously interfacing with the magnetic field increases as the coil moves inside. Therefore, according to the definition of the Faraday's law, if there will be any change in the magnetic field, the EMF will induce. Now this EMF will depend upon two factors. First, the rate of change of the flux, and second, the number of turns in the coil. Therefore, we can say that EMF or the epsilon is equal to minus n d phi by dt, where n represents the number of turns in this coil and d phi by dt is the rate of change of the flux. This minus sign is nothing but it represents the Lenz's law. Alright, so let's look over the Lenz's law also. First we will discuss about its definition, that what does it say. It states that an induced current has a direction such that its magnetic field or flux opposes the change in magnetic field or flux that induces the current or EMF. As we know that Lenz's law, it tells about the direction of the induced EMF or the induced current. The varying flux induces EMF. The varying flux induces EMF. Now, the purpose of induced EMF or current is to maintain the flux constant, thereby opposing the direction of rate of change of current. That means, you can see from this figure, the same example, the direction of the induced current which will induce in this coil, which will flow in this coil, will basically oppose the change in current so as to keep the flux constant, because the purpose of the induced quantity, the induced current, is to maintain the flux constant. Therefore, it has to oppose the direction of the rate of change of current, thereby reducing the flux which has increased. Alright. Or the very simple thing which you all can always keep in mind, that the induced current or EMF will always oppose the cause of its generation. So what is the cause of the generation of induced current? The varying current itself, which is flowing in the circuit. So induced current will oppose the direction of varying current present in the circuit. Alright. Now I am going to write the very important line which will help you to understand the concept of Lenz's law forever. systems do not like the change. So if there will be any change in the system, then the system obviously going to oppose the cause of that change, and simultaneously it will always try to keep that change constant. I can explain this line with the help of very simple schematic diagram. Suppose we have any system. There is a system. It can be any simple or any complex circuit, alright. And suppose we take two cases. We are taking two cases. In the first case, we are providing a current which is an increasing current, alright. And in the second case, we are providing the same current, but it is a decreasing current. In the first case, we are providing an increasing current to the system, and in the second case, we are providing a decreasing current to the system. So as a result, suppose if we consider the first case, when we provide the current which is increasing, then as a result there will be an increase in the flux according to the Faraday's law, and as a result the EMF is going to induced, alright. And if we take the second case, in this case we are providing a decreasing current to the system. So as a result there will be a decrease in flux, and whenever the flux is going to change, the EMF will induce. So EMF is going to induce in both the cases. Now the point is, the EMF is induced. Now the current which is going to induce because of this EMF, what will be the direction of that current so as to oppose the cause of that generation, so as to keep the systems constant, alright. So let's look at the first case. Here we have an increasing flux. That means the induced current is going to oppose the direction of the original current, so that it can decrease that amount of flux which has increased, alright. So therefore this current, suppose this is an induced current, is going to oppose the direction of the original current. But if we take the second case, here we are providing a decreasing current to the system, and as a result we are getting a decreasing flux. So in this case the induced current is going to support the original current which is flowing in this circuit, so as to aid the loss of the flux, because the systems do not like the change. So if so like whether the flux is getting increased or whether the flux is getting decreased, it will help that loss, or it will going to contribute to that loss. So in this case the flux is getting decreased, so this current is going to contribute for that loss. So therefore the direction of the induced current will support the direction of the original current which is flowing in this circuit. So we have also we have to always keep in mind that if we are providing an increasing current to the system, the direction of the induced current will oppose the direction of the current. But if we provide a decreasing current to the system, the direction of the induced current is going to support the original current, or support the direction of the original current. So this is how the Lenz's law work. Now we will move to our main topic, which is self-inductance. These two laws are very important. for understanding the concept of self-inductance. Now you all can easily understand the concept of self-inductance. So let's look at its definition first. If the current in the circuit is changing, then the induction of voltage takes place in the same circuit. As the voltage is self-induced or in the same circuit, this phenomena is known as self-inductance. The changing magnetic flux or field created by the circuit induces the voltage or current in the same circuit. Alright, here we can see, this is the example which we have taken. In this circuit we have three elements: a battery, a variable resistor and an inductor. All three elements are connected in series. R is a variable quantity. This is the variable resistor. Now suppose if R increases, because it is a variable quantity, the resistor is a variable. So suppose if R increases, this will result in increasing the current also. This current which is flowing in this circuit, the current also increases. At this, as this current is flowing through the solenoid, so the changing current will lead to changing magnetic field. This same current is going to flow through this solenoid also. So due to the varying current, the magnetic field which is getting created around this coil will also change. Therefore the magnetic field also increases. If B increases, which further results in increasing the flux, obviously. So this magnetic field which is increasing, it will lead to flux which will also get increased. So the flux increases. Now according to the Faraday's law, the induction of voltage takes place, because whenever there will be any change in the magnetic field, whether the magnetic field increases or if the flux increases, which is obviously going to increase, we will get the voltage which is getting induced around this solenoid. So therefore the induction of voltage takes place. Now this voltage is self-induced. The voltage is self-induced, or we can say it is only because of this same circuit only. In the same circuit, the voltage which is getting induced is in the same circuit only. Therefore this phenomena is known as the self-inductance. Alright. Now we can say that phi, or the flux, is directly proportional to the I. Means the flux is directly proportional to the current which is flowing in the circuit. Now this sign of proportionality, it can be replaced by some constant. Suppose L. L is the self-inductance. This L is the constant which is known for self-inductance. Alright. So from here we can say that L is equal to phi over I. So this is the self-inductance which is defined for only one turn. And now if we have n number of turns in this coil, then this L will become n into phi over I. Now according to Faraday's law, the EMF induced is equal to minus n d phi by dt. Now we can replace phi by this value. From here we can say that phi is equal to Li over N. So we can substitute the value of phi from this formula over here. So we'll get minus N L over N di by dt. We will get minus L di by dt. So this is the EMF which will get induced in the solenoid. Okay, and this minus N represents the Lenz's law, which we have already discussed. So what does an inductor or a solenoid is doing over here? They always try to prevent the change in current. It does not mind if the current is constant. In that case, EMF will be equal to 0. So if we do not provide the variable resistor over here, then the current is going to remain constant. So this constant current which is flowing through this circuit, through this solenoid, will not generate or will not induce any voltage in this solenoid. So in that case, the EMF is going to remain 0. So inductors don't mind the current, they mind the change in current. Alright. Now I am going to tell you about some basic sign conventions related to inductor. Means how we can give the sign to induced EMF with respect to current flowing through that inductor. So here are some cases which I have already drawn. Let's look over the first case. Suppose this is a solenoid through which the current I is flowing, and the value of this inductor is, suppose the value of self-inductance is L. Now when the EMF is going to induced around this solenoid, we have to tell that what will be the sign of that EMF. Suppose V is equal to L di by dt. Okay, so in all of these cases V has to be L di by dt. Now we have to determine the sign for this induced voltage, that whether it should be positive or it should be negative. So in the first case, suppose this current which is flowing through this solenoid is an increasing current. Okay, so if the current is increasing, that means the rate of change of current, that means di by dt, is an increasing factor. The formula for induced EMF is not L di by dt, in fact it is minus L di by dt. We have already derived it, sorry for that. V is equal to minus L di by dt. Now suppose if the current is an increasing factor, that means this term di by dt is going to increase. Now this term is going to increase, that means it is becoming more positive and positive. So therefore this positive factor and this minus will result in minus. So that means the induced EMF is going to be negative. So that means this inductor is gonna behave like an EMF source which will provide a current in the direction opposite to the current flowing in through this solenoid. So we can replace this inductor with a voltage source, suppose like in this way. So this EMF source will generate a current which will oppose the direction of this current. Alright, so in this case the voltage induced will be negative. Now suppose here this is the inductor, this is the I, but this I is a decreasing current. Means the current which is flowing through this solenoid is decreasing. So that means di by dt is becoming more negative and negative. So this factor is becoming negative, and we already have a negative sign over here. So this negative and this negative will become positive. So we will get induced EMF as positive voltage, right? So that means this inductor will behave as an EMF source which will support the direction of this current in this way. So this will induce a current which will support the direction of this current. Alright. Now let's take the other case. Here we have a solenoid and the current is flowing in this direction. That means from right to left this time. And here the current again is an increasing current. So what will be the direction of the current which will induce in this case? This factor di by dt is an increasing factor. That means this is going to become more positive and positive. So this negative and positive will become negative. So the induced voltage will be negative, and the induced current is going to oppose the direction of this current. So this inductor will behave as an EMF source, and the current will oppose the direction of the current which is flowing already in this solenoid. Alright, and let's look at the last case. This is the current, and suppose this current is again a decreasing current. Now here also this factor is going to become negative, then negative and negative will become positive. So in this case the induced voltage will be a positive voltage, and this inductor is going to behave like an EMF source which will provide a current whose direction, which will induce an current whose direction will support the direction of this current. That means in this way. So it will generate a current, or it will induce a current which will support this current. Alright. So whenever we have an increasing current, the induced current will oppose the direction of that current, and whenever we have the decreasing current, the induced current will support the direction of the current. And this is the case, suppose there is an inductor through which the current I is flowing, and this I is a constant I. Means neither it is an increasing current nor it is a decreasing current. So in that case EMF is going to be 0. According to Faraday's law, if there is no change in magnetic field because the current is 0, there will be no induction in voltage or current. Alright, so I hope it's clear to you now. Now the last thing is that we can also find the formula for L. If we have to find the formula for L, then how are we going to compute? For that, let's consider again a coil through which a variable current is flowing. Suppose this is a coil whose value is L and through which variable current is flowing I. Suppose the number of turns in this coil is capital N, and the length of this coil is L. Alright, so whenever the varying current is flowing through this coil, it will create a magnetic field all around it. Alright, so now according to Faraday's law, or according to the principle of self-inductance, we can say the induced EMF is equal to minus d phi by dt minus n d phi by dt. Alright. Suppose L is the length of the coil and n number of turns. The magnetic field through it can now be given by B. The magnetic field is equal to mu naught n over L into I, where mu naught represents the permeability of the medium. Alright, n is the number of turns, L is the length of the coil, and I is the current which is flowing through this solenoid. This n by L represents number of turns per unit length. Also we know that phi is equal to B into A. Now we will substitute the value of B in this equation. So we will get phi is equal to mu naught n over L into I into A. So this is the flux through one turn only. Alright, so for n turns, for n number of turns, what will be the flux? The flux will be n into this whole term, that means mu naught n over L I into A. So we will rearrange it a little. So we'll get mu naught n square I A over L. So this is the flux through n number of turns. Now we know the value of L, the self-inductance. It is phi over L. So we'll substitute the value of phi. That means mu naught n square A over L. Sorry, capital L. This is the value of the self-inductance. Okay, so from here you can see that self-inductance means the value of self-inductance, that means L, does not depend upon current. It only depends upon the geometry of the coil. That means L, length of the coil, n, number of turns in the coil, A, the area of the coil, and mu naught, that means the medium of the coil, the permeability of the medium of the coil. So here we finish our first topic, self-inductance. In the next lecture I will discuss mutual inductance. Thank you.